Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. These next two episodes that we're doing in the Book of Numbers have a lot of information to them. That we're covering one story that's only it's looking at Numbers 21 verses 4 through 9. So a very short section. But this section here is talking about the bronze snake. And that pictures so well, it's really kind of a foreshadowing of salvation through Jesus. Okay, we're going to get deeper into it tomorrow. But today I wanted to introduce the subject by, it's entitled today, Salvation Starts with Sin. Okay, that doesn't mean you got to go out and sin in order to be saved, but we're all born sinners, and we need to realize that we are a sinner. And you're going to see that these people in what we read here today, they first came to, the salvation started because they admitted we are sinners, okay, and we sinned. That's where it has to start. Any salvation has to start with that. There's nothing to be saved from if you can't admit you're a sinner. What are you saved from? Okay, so for you to go and share the gospel but leave out the first part that you're a sinner, you're taking away that first step, so it doesn't make sense if you do that. So this is taken today from from Numbers 21 verses 4 through 9, and then also John chapter 3 verses 14 to 16. Okay, so I'm going to read Numbers 21 first. It says this: They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom, but the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." Okay, they detested the manna. This is not the first time this happened, all right? This had happened many times, but this time you're going to see judgment comes immediately, okay? There's other times where God, gives a warning and so forth, but here judgment comes immediately. In verse 6 it says, Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned." Get that? We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us. So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it on the pole. Then when anyone was bitten by the snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. Okay? That's a story, and it foreshadows what happens in the Gospels with Jesus' crucifixion. But Jesus talks about it, his crucifixion before that. John 3 verses 14 to 16 says this: Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes in may have eternal life in him. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Okay? What I wanted to talk about today is that first part, that we have to admit we're sinners. And that's what happened here in Numbers. They had sinned, okay, but salvation didn't start until they realized they had sinned. Other times they didn't. They were like, yeah, we were just, living life or whatever. But they didn't say, we sinned. Okay, here it's written down. They came to Moses and said, we sinned. And you know what? They named the sin, too, that they did. They said, we sinned when we sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Okay, that was their sin, that they were complaining against Moses and the Lord. They spoke against him, and that was their sin. All right. So, like I said at the beginning, if we don't understand that we're sinners, and Christianity is separated from many other world religions by the fact that we admit that we're a sinner. We are we're born sinners. Okay, if you're not a Christian, you have that. Sometimes you have that belief system that I was born a good guy, and I just messed up sometimes. Okay, we as Christians know that because of our sin through Adam and Eve, sin has been passed on generation to generation, and children don't need to be trained how to sin. They can sin very well on their own without receiving any training on how to do that. And so we have to, first of all, admit that we're a sinner, and then salvation will come after that. So I invite you to join me tomorrow, because you're going to see how salvation comes after we admit that we're a sinner. But that's the first thing that has to happen, is we need to admit that we're a sinner. Okay? So thanks for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I'm saying you must see tomorrow's episode. If you watch this one, you got to see tomorrow's episode to see what happens and how this whole salvation experience works. Thanks for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Numbers. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.